Daith da, Obi Nakan. Welcome to podcast number 148. So since I spoke to you last week, we've again been fairly quiet really. Thursday, amongst other things, our limousine was out on hire, which we do hire out to other funeral directors. And we did have an interment of ashes up at the Rose Garden there at Eglesale. And then we had David's funeral, David from Bodmin there in the afternoon, which was brilliant, fantastic crowd. And the floral tribute, if you look on our RJ Bray Facebook page, I did put a photo on, because as a lot of you would know, David was a builder there in Bodmin. And the floral tribute was of a trowel with cement, and it actually had real bricks as well. It was brilliant. I put a photo on our Facebook page there, but you may have to go back a few to see it, but 'tis well worth looking at, I must admit. And then on Friday, as well as our limo being out with another funeral director, and then another funeral director who's friends of us asked for a few of our chaps to help with bearers. In the afternoon, we was at Eglesale Cemetery to say goodbye to Pam. And Pam's family is what I consider a real Eglesale village family, really. Lovely lady. And the weather was good. We even had our local boy band, the Shipwrecks, there singing, which was brilliant. I know Steph sings with them, one of Pam's sons. And I think Edward, grandson, I think he sung with them a bit as well. But all was well there as we said goodbye to Pam. A lovely crowd there. Dom took the service and all was well. Now, I was whipping up to Cardiff, me and Beth, because we did get tickets, so we got the chance to see Oasis. And 'tis their first tour for, well, I don't know about decades, but definitely a long time. And the trip up was a long old one, really. We was doing pretty good, but then as we coming onto the motorway, real slow traffic, and get onto the motorway, and there's an accident there. Very sad. A motorcyclist, ambulance police was there. They was holding a blanket up so you couldn't get in and have a look, which you wouldn't want to anyway. And it always sends a shiver down my spine when I see a motorcyclist involved in an accident. And then after that, we had a couple more accidents, roads works, queuing to go into Wales. But when we got in there, we actually did the park and ride thing, which worked out really well, because the bus journey was only, 6 or 7 minutes, and we was there. And Cardiff was, the atmosphere was fantastic. It was even, and all the pubs and cafes just had Oasis music blaring out. And we got into the stadium. Daisy and Jamie was there too, and my niece Lisa and Charlton, but none of us was sat with the others, if you know what I mean. And 'twas brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cast was the first group. They did all their hits, which was brilliant. Richard Ashcroft was on next. I was worried he'd do more of his solo stuff, which I don't really know, but he didn't. He did a lot of Verve stuff, which was brilliant. And then Oasis just played for, over 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, I think it was. And it was a brilliant evening. And then a short bus trip back again to the park and ride. We were staying in Bristol, so it was only 40 minutes to get back to Bristol, in theory. But because there were so many people that had been to the concert that was heading back to England as well, it took us 2 hours. So I think we got back to our Airbnb about 1:45, and then we were staying with James and Gemma and the two boys, and James and Gemma had tickets for the following night. So we then looked after the boys the following day, met up with Molly, went round Bristol, all was well. So back to this week. Monday, our hearse was out on hire again, but we didn't have any funerals on Monday. And then Tuesday, we was up St Mabon for Liz's funeral. We've known Liz and her family for a good few years now, and 'twas lovely to see a nice lot of people there as we said goodbye to her on Tuesday. And then Wednesday we had a funeral, one of these early ones, straight into the crematorium at 8:30. And then I'm talking to you now on Thursday, where we had Brian's funeral, and that was Glyn Valley. And 'tis been so hot today. 'Tis beautiful weather. 'Tis almost too hot, which I shouldn't complain because I love the hot weather. But when you're dressed up in top hat and tails and waistcoat and that, yeah, 'tis a bit warm. But Brian's funeral went really well. Good to see some old Padstonians there. I say Brian lived down there in Padstow, so everything was good. So that was me week, really. I say we've been really quiet, and it's funny. I think for the last 18 months we've been so busy, you're almost running on adrenaline, and you're just going flat out. And now we go quiet, and really I should be enjoying a quiet spell, and you just you feel deflated. Almost a bit anxious. I don't know. It's a really weird feeling, but I do feel a bit, well, not much energy. I'm still managing to get out to the runs and all that, but yeah, it's definitely funny feeling. But there we are. One thing I meant to say actually before I go on to our interview for this week, going back to Oasis. Now I went to school with Age Olin. We was best mates down when we was at boys' school and that. Went girls' school, boys' school, right the way through comp together. And his boy, I'm sure it is Josh, one of his boys, is the official photographer for the Oasis tour. Now, isn't that fantastic? Somebody here from Weybridge in Cornwall has got the job of the official photographer for Oasis. So well done, mate. What an achievement. Age, I bet you're some proud, mate. I bet you are. So what I'm going to do now, I won't talk too long because I've got a fantastic interview with a dear friend of mine. He was my school teacher years ago. Well, that's not strictly true because he never taught me, which is most probably a good thing because he was maths teacher and my maths was terrible. But he's a fantastic chap, Graham Hawke, known to some of his Albert, which he will explain about that. But the interview covers so many different things. I think this first one is about Graham's early life, and he then goes on to the music in the future, which I'll talk about more about that then, because Graham was such a big influence on my musical, I was going to say career, twin of blooming career, my musical interest, we'll put it that way. Fantastic musician. But we've known him forever, knew his father, which I won't carry on because it's all in the podcast. So I'll hand over now to Graham, and I'll speak to you again after this part, but I'm sure you'll love it. So here it is. Right, well, I was going to say, get on, Graham, how we knacking, but 'tain't quite as straightforward as that, because when you was me teacher, it was Mr. Hawke first, then Mr. H, but also there's the Albert as well. So do you want to explain as we start off with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strange tale in a way. My full birth record name is Albert Richard Graham Hawke.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those quirky people that, you know, they had a family routine of some sort. And my one of the grands said, I want Albert to be his first name after his grandfather.
Yes.
And she said, but you better have the second name, Richard, after the other grandfather.
Yeah.
To keep him happy.
Yes.
But she said, you two, mother and father, choose what name you like. So they came up with Graham, you see. So I was always Graham in the family.
Right.
Apart from official registers at school, doctor's records, first name.
Yeah.
And later in life, when I joined Facebook, what's your first name? Albert.
Yeah.
So people who see me on Facebook in the Weybridge Memories particularly, will know me as Albert. I was Graham until I went to Bubham Grammar School to travel on the train from Weybridge. And when I got in there, the first day we had to all go in the hall, and they said, right, we're going to call the register. And at one point it was going on for ages, and they were doing alphabetical. And it said, Albert Hawke. And I didn't answer because I thought, well, there might be another one.
Yeah, exactly.
All nervous there, shaking in a big new school. So at the end, they said, was there anybody missed out? So I put my hand up. And the teacher said, what's your name then? I said, Graham Hawke. He said, well, I don't know, Albert Hawke. I said, well, I'm called Albert. He said, well, that's you then. And of course, these little giggles were.
Yeah.
So that morning, first morning break, the class, one of the boys is sitting near me. He said, "It's a funny name, Albert." He said, "It's different." So the name caught on. I think it was unusual in those days.
Yeah, that's right.
So it became almost a nickname.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's better than Fatso or Four Eyes. So I'll go with it.
Oh, brilliant. So you say about your gran choosing the names then. So if we go back to your family, where they come from locally in that?
Yeah, my mother's side of the family, that gran it was, she grew up on a farm down in Rumford, St Irvine, near Padstow.
Yeah.
A farm called Treadwell. And her maiden name was Bennett's. And when she became a working age, as they called it, she moved into Weybridge to be a chambermaid.
All right, yeah.
And lived in residence in Weybridge. My grandfather, Albert Richards, he grew up on a farm down at Pennard.
Oh, yes.
And his father was a farmer. So I come from both grandparents farmers background.
Definitely, yeah.
That explains mother's side of the family. But she wasn't the only child. They had 3 children, Jack, my mother, and her younger brother, Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
And a lot of people might remember Charlie Richards in town. He used to drive the van for Chapman and Co, Spar, Centra. That's right. Quite a character. Loved carnivals, that sort of thing. So that's that side of the family. My father grew up on a farm at Cubert.
Oh, right.
Between St Cullum and Newquay.
That's right, yeah.
And his father, Richard Hawke, moved up to have his own farm when he married my that gran. And they farmed up at Treadwell up near Rosenannan, up on the Sunbury Downs, in a farm called Treliver.
Oh, yes.
And father used to come in with his friend, who later became the best man when they got married to mother. They used to come in on a Saturday night to go to the pictures or go for a walk around the town, mainly Saturdays. And that's how he met mother. They were out, she was out walking with Mabon Hicks, her friend.
Yeah.
And they asked him if they'd like to go for a walk. So that's how they met. They ended up getting married and so on. And then when she married, she moved out of the family home. Poor old Jack, sadly, was killed in a road accident when he was 18.
Oh dear.
On the outskirts of Weybridge.
Yeah.
So it was just mother and Charlie and her parents.
Yeah.
And they were living up at White Rock Terrace, up top of White Rock Road there, number 2. Now, mother and father, when they got married in 1942, took their own farm, a rented farm, called Millways, up closer to Rosenannan.
I see.
And they lived in a little cottage. It was 6 years before I came along. Mother was injured, actually, in a first aid training session during the war. And they told her she'd never be able to have any children. Oh, right. But I turned up from somewhere. Yeah. And anyway, I was 4 years old and had lived up until that point up on the farm. I remember riding on Dad's tractor with him, in between his legs on the seat, an old grey Fergie tractor, and various other memories I've got. But my gran became very ill, the one, mother's mother. Mother came to look after grandfather and Charlie for a while when gran died after several operations in 1953. That is a rather complicated situation then, because father still was out on the farm during the week. Yeah. But he would come in to be with mother and me and her family on weekends. Yeah. And that went on until I was almost school age, 5 in those days. No nursery schools then or anything. Anyway, when I became of nearly school age, running a small farm in those days was very up and down, as it almost certainly is now. Crop failure and where's the next penny coming from to pay for the vet's bills for the cows, Yeah. And then you'd have a wonderful year,
Yeah.
And suddenly, you had a bit of bank money again. Mm-hmm. But Father came in one day as a sharing arrangement was going on. And he said, it struck me, he said, I've got a chance of a job in Weybridge, the Cornish egg producers, which your dad used to be involved with.
That's right, yeah.
We're taking on drivers to go out in the country, collect eggs and so on. And he said, I quite fancy that because I should be working, I like driving, I should be visiting farms, which I like. Yeah. He said, I can move in to Weybridge and live, and Graham will be able to go to school easier in Weybridge than up at Rosenanning, where he's got to walk across 2 or 3 fields to get to St. Wen's school.
Yeah.
So suddenly we became, when I was 4, this sort of extended family in one house of mother, father, and me, age 4, grandfather, and Uncle Charlie. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
That's the background.
Like you say, because Father worked with my father at Egg
did indeed, yes.
And then when I started with Father with the funeral side, Father was a bearer.
He was.
With John Ellicott and Ern Axworthy.
That's right. He worked with the Cornish egg producers from there on, and then they sold or were taken over, I believe, by a bigger company down at Mitchell.
Yeah.
And your dad was taken on there. Yeah. I was a part of that management. And they were taking on drivers for there. And Father, they asked him if he would. So he had to drive a much bigger lorry.
Yeah.
It was a bigger operation, which he did for several years. And he enjoyed it, but it was extremely tiring. More so than the old job.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't as happy because he's delivering eggs to supermarkets all over Cornwall and stuff like that. And he had an accident coming back through Summercourt one night. It wasn't his fault. It was all foggy and misty, and that was the main road. There was no A30 bypassing Summercourt then. And there was a coal lorry stopped, unloading, and Father suddenly saw the rear lights in the mist, but there was lights of a car coming the other way.
Yeah.
So of the two, he decided to try to brake and stay in that lane, and he smacked into the back of the lorry, and he was trapped in his cab and had to be cut out. And I was away at university at the time, and Mother phoned up and told me. Anyway, luckily they saved the leg, but he wasn't allowed to drive lorries anymore because of the heavier driving style. So the doctor said when he was in hospital, and then he was recovering for about 6 months, and the doctor said to him, "You need a walking job." And Father said, how do you do that? He says, your leg's bad. He said, well, that's the point. He said, you want to keep that circulation going, build up strength. He said, being a postman would suit you for a while. And Father came home, and Charlie said, that's a good idea, Bill. Because he used to call William. Yeah. Bill. William was my father. So he said, I'll see if there's any vacancies down there. So he went in and asked. So when Charlie came home that night after tea, he said, they want 2 auxiliary postmen.
Oh, fair day.
So Father went for an interview and got it.
Yeah. God.
So he found it hard to begin with because of the leg and learning the rounds. But he was very happy there. He was a postman for many years. Yeah. Ended up driving a postal bus. Turn around. He was the first one to pass the test to do that. Yeah. He was terrified. He had to go down to Truro to do the test. In this blooming bus, it was like a postal van thing. And he'd never taken a driving test before, and Uncle Charlie hadn't, because they were before. Oh, of course. They learnt to drive before the tests came in.
Yeah, of course.
So he was terrified by it. So he asked me if I'd help him with the theory to test him a bit, because I'd been through it myself. But anyway, he's delighted. He passed it. He thoroughly enjoyed that. But when it came, he went on to full retirement age. And then he was, he liked working. He was a hard-working man, but was fit. Yeah. And he did a bit of gardening for 1 or 2 people. Yeah. And then your dad asked him if he'd be interested in being a bearer. Yeah. So he came home to Mother and he said, what do you think? She said, yeah. She said, you got the suit and everything, why not? See if you like it or not. Yeah.
So with yourself then, with your schooling, would you have gone through the usual route, the girls' school first, then the boys' school, or?
Funnily enough, no. In those days, as now, you got to sort of register your wish to go to a certain school, even though there was only the one school in Weybridge, the combined infant school over combined with the girls' school for the over 11s.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Crouch was the headmistress over there. And my friend, who I'm still friends with, Michael Bowden, his mother, we live close up top of the hill, White Rock Road. And she said, have you registered Graham yet? And Mother said, no. She said, I've got, I've got to go and do Michael as well, register him. So Mother thought I better get on with that. So she went over, and because of my birth date, which was in September, I won't tell you the date because I don't want Facebook with 10,000 messages on my birthday, thank you. But anyway, it's in September. But there was a magic date where I wasn't allowed then to start in September.
Right.
If the school had a big list on the register.
Okay.
And that was the case. So she said, Graham won't be able to start until Christmas. And Mother said, well, that's not fair. He's missed a term before he starts.
Yeah, exactly.
She said, well, I'm afraid that's the way it is.
Right.
And she was quite abrupt, apparently. I never knew. And, there's several sides to arguments, but stories. But Mother was a bit upset and came home, and I didn't know anything about it, really. It was all going on over my head.
Totally. Yeah.
And apparently that night we always used to sit around the big dining table for tea, and I got memories of doing that. But Charlie was always the ideas man. Right. And then Mother would, brother and sister. Yeah. And Father would say yes to keep the peace, really. But Grandfather would chip in occasionally. Yeah. I was there just tucking in a bit of tea, Age 4.5. But Charlie said, he said, Lansdowne School, which was in White Rock Road, and Lansdowne Road is still there, and the building's still there. But that was Lansdowne School, was a little private school. Yeah. And he said, how about we enroll Graham for one term there? Because he said, there's 3 wage owners in the family. There's grandfather, me, and Bill. Okay. So he said, if we all chip in, I don't know what the fees are. Right. Then he started schooling, as they used to say. They used to say in Cornwall, didn't they? Start your schooling, boy.
Exactly.
Not going to school,
No.
Start your schooling. Anyway, Father couldn't go because he was out working on the rounds, but Mother Charlie went down to see the head teacher, Mr. Davis, and the headmistress, Miss Hall. And they said, yes, we got vacancies. It's £10 a term. That's incredible now, isn't it? £10 a term. Yeah. That was a lot of money then.
Yeah, exactly.
That was equivalent to almost, Father was getting £12 apparently at that time. After tax. Private schools are never cheap. But with the 3, they got together and they thought, but he said he ought to stay at least a year. Right. He wanted the money probably. But anyway, he said, that's cruel, isn't it? But he said, we'd be happier if he stayed for 2 years, because that's the complete nursery course. And then he said if he wants to leave, that's the age that the infant school in Weybridge, the boys would separate go up to the boys' school. Yeah. So that was the arrangement, and that's what happened. I stayed there for 2 years. I only knew as a teacher Miss Singer, Rita Singer, in her little nursery class. Michael went there as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Because his mother had the same... So, although he was a June birthday, and again I won't say the date. No. But his mother said, we don't want to split them up, we're friends. She said, I could probably afford it, with Gran's help. Yeah. Because his Gran and uncle lived with them. It was a strange coincidence, right? Yeah. So we were both up there for the 2 years. And then I went up to boys' school and till 1959 when I passed my 11 plus, and then went into Bum Grammar School.
Can you remember your teachers at boys' school then, or no?
Boys' school, yeah. You asked me something there. Mr. Millington was the head. Right. He was the one who taught the children in the oldest year, what they call year 6 now. Yeah. Mr. Harrison, he was a lovely old teacher. I was in his class. There was a Mr. Hicks up there, but he didn't actually teach me, but he had a terrifyingly loud voice. I was quite glad he didn't teach me, actually. lovely teacher was Mr. Reynolds, who later taught he became a deputy head, I believe, over in the...
Is it Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never taught me again, but
No.
he was more of a gentle
He was lovely, wasn't he?
type
Lovely
teacher.
man. Yeah.
But a very good one, I heard. And there was a Mr. Jenkin,
Right.
who he was a bit gory, and we loved him. Every week he was telling us for one term a different method of execution used in the world. And I was coming in telling my parents about garroting and all sorts of hung, drawn and quartered. And they said, God, what are they teaching you out there? But we thought it was wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love it.
But yeah, there are happy days out there.
And I'm guessing, did you do like I did and went home for dinner?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because at that point, there was no canteen or food up at the boys' school. And there was no bus when I went there. No. If you went to dinner, you were lined up, had to walk 2 by 2 over the bridge and back.
Yeah.
So Mother used to cook dinner every day.
Yeah.
Which in Cornwall is at dinner time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Middle of the day. So I'd run home in those days. Don't think I could do that now at Whitehall Road, but could have us pushed, I think, but I'd rather not.
No.
So it's come home to dinner, time enough to go back again for the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was great up there then. I was allowed to wear my gun holsters to school, cowboys and Indians. That's naughty now.
Oh, but, brilliant.
Yeah, but it was a good school. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it there, I must admit.
And then that year there was only 2 of us past the 11 plus.
Right.
Myself and Philip Kingdon.
Right.
Who also lived at White Rock.
Okay.
Must be something to do with the air up there.
Exactly. Exactly.
But anyway, we started in Bodmin Grammar School in 1959. Went through there, got my O-levels, went on to do A-levels. Did double maths, physics and chemistry. Started my first school band in there. Started learning guitar when I was 15.
I was going to say, when did the music start? So it was 15 then, was it?
Yeah. I had piano lessons. My grandfather reckoned I was musical because his family was. Grandfather Richards, I mean, when I say grandfather.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I confess, my other grandfather as well, because he was still farming at it. True Liver.
Yeah.
I did, when he got older, he moved into Weybridge.
Yeah.
And he used to play bowls.
All right.
He used to call him Farmer up there. He was delighted with that.
Yeah.
Drove a little Morris Mini Minor.
Yeah.
And when I was in the sixth form, one of the options for sport, which I never liked particularly, not the old traditional sport, I must admit I was no good at that, but you could play bowls, learn how to play bowls.
Yeah.
And I learned how to play bowls, and the grandfather Hawke, I used to call him, he invited me to come over and play bowls with him on the summer before I went to university. So I got to know him better in an older age, really.
Yeah.
He was a lovely old chap. And Aunt Ida, father's sister Ida Chapman.
Yeah.
I could go off in so many different directions. I mustn't. But anyway, yes. So how do we get on to that one?
Music, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it was piano lessons first.
Back to Grandfather Richards. He was very musical. His whole family was. And Mother had lessons, and she could play chapel organ. She called it hymns. Yeah. And we had a reed organ in our home, the old bellows type. And when I was, about 4 or 5, Grandfather came home from a sail. He was retired by then. And he'd been to a sail in Weybridge. And he used to just love the atmosphere of a sail, general sail.
Yeah.
And he came home carrying this little set of tubular bells.
Oh, right.
8 of them. I still got them, so I know that. A full octave of them in a little frame with 2 little hammers, and you could play tunes on it. So apparently he came home and he said, I got a present for Graham here. And she said, oh, that's nice. Mother did. And he said, shall we keep it till Christmas? Or no, she said, give it to him now. So anyway, he called me over here. Boy, what do you think of this? So give me the hammer. He says, bang, 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 crash, wallop, like you would when you're 4 or so. Yeah. So he let me go, and he taught me before that how to sing a hymn called Now the Day Is Over. Oh, it's quite a simple little tune.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And after I've been crashing away for a while, I'm getting a bit bored, I suppose, he said, can you play Now the Day Is Over on it? So I knew it was da 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 da. And I didn't know at that age, I had no idea, obviously. You had to start on the right note. Because it was only the white notes on a piano. You didn't have all the sharps and flats. And I kept going wrong. I was starting it, and then that's not the right note. And he could tell I had an ear, a musical ear. And he said, that boy's got an ear of music. He said he's got the Richard's ear for music. And grandfather said, start on that note. And I started on that one and played it. So he said, we got to start him learning piano or something. So I had music lessons with Miss Cox.
Oh, me too.
She used to come to me home. And she was lovely when you were very young. She got you playing quickly. Lots of little tunes. And God, everybody thought you were going to be a concert pianist or something, Mother'd say, here, come in here to Graham. He's only been having lessons for 2 months. He can play wonderful things. But I always found reading music difficult. I don't know if there's such a thing as musical notation dyslexia. I've never heard so, but
no.
I always found the sight reading difficult. Whether it was my musical ear stopping me or something like I just surmised, but that was holding me up. And I was good at the theory because I've got a mathematical logical brain, I think, and I got up to grade 3 in theory. All quite easy really, I thought, but practical I was still only on grade 1 because I couldn't pass the sight reading part of the practical test.
I see,
She was still coming giving me piano lessons, and she entered me in the music festival to play duets with little girls, which I didn't want to do when I was about 11. I wanted to be out playing football with my mates,
Exactly.
And so Mother picked up on, she obviously felt that I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And she actually said, when I was about that age, you're not really enjoying it anymore, are you? I said, no, I'm fed up with it, really. And she said, look, I don't want to put you off music because you have got that ear for music. She said, how about having a break? You'll come back to it because you've got a lot of homework now in Bodmin Grammar School. And that's what happened.
Right. Well, I think I'm going to stop it there because Graham then, from then on, talks about the guitar and that will take up a nice chunk of next week's podcast. But I hope you enjoyed it. Went it proper. Really was. Really enjoyed it myself. I think the Cornish word of the week, because Graham was a school teacher, we've been talking about his early days at school, I will go for the word school. Now, this is an easy one. If you're trying to learn Cornish, this is an easy one. Because the Cornish word for school is skol. Skol, which is spelled S-K-O-L. So you've got to learn that one. That's easy, isn't it? Booty. For me Cornish dialect of the week, me and Char, we was in the ambulance this morning, heading down to Padstow, and we was talking, and he came up with this phrase that I thought, I am used that one yet, and I'll use it today. And 'tis, if you was talking about something that was like untidy, messy, broken, all the hell sort of thing, you'd say, God, 'tis all the lerrups. All the lerrups. So that's my phrase for this week. If something's, all the hell, untidy, broken, whatever, 'tis all the lerrups. So there we are. Right, well, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. We got more from Mr. Hawke, as I would call him, or Graham, or Albert, next week, and I'm sure you'll love it. But I hope you have a good week. Wish you well. Do Guinness. Carnobus Fican.